Welcome back to another Talking Tuesdays right here on Let's Turn 2. Today, I thought we'd do something fun. Let's try and get some discussion going with how did you become a fan of your favorite team? It's not always as simple as, well, I grew up in or around a certain city, so they were my team. Sometimes people have a story, and today I'll share mine how somebody who is a big baseball fan born just outside of St. Louis, have now lived here in the city for the better part of 15 years, how I could be a Giants fan instead of the Cardinals. Now, I will say I am a Cardinals fan, to an extent. If it's not going to be the Giants in the National League, I would want it to be the Cardinals. So let's just go ahead. I just have a stack of these should all be rookie cards here that we'll sort through for the visual aspect since this is a card channel, but I thought this would be a fun topic and just share how I became a Giants fan. And just in case you've never noticed, the color scheme of my background mat here is orange and black and white. That's not by accident. These are, subtly the Giants colors that I try to put into the channel because this channel is an extension of how I collect and who I am as a baseball fan. So we will just sort through some of these rookies. I honestly don't know what years these are, but they would certainly be, I would imagine, from, say, 2018 through probably last year. So, all right, let's go back. 1992, it was July. I was watching a game, local broadcast, and remember, this was before the MLB Extra Innings or MLB TV on the internet. It was even before your regional broadcasts would show all of your local teams' games. You really only got to watch maybe 2 or 3 games a week locally, and then you had your TBS for the Braves, WGN for the Cubs and White Sox, and ESPN showed a game or 2 a week, but it certainly wasn't as available. There's a nice Devers rookie, few Devers rookies here. So anyways, it was a July, I forget what night of the week it was, I can't get that specific, but it was in July. Back in 1992, the Cardinals played in San Francisco. Now, when you're a kid, one of the coolest things, it's not school time, it's the summer, one of the coolest things is just to stay up late, and when the Cardinals would go out to the West Coast to play games, you knew that you could stay up till pretty much midnight just watching baseball, so that on its own was really cool. Well, on this given night, against the Giants. And I will say, before 92, my sports memories, very few and far between. Since 92, yeah, I remember a lot, if not most, with the pro sports, not just baseball. But on this night, I had never really known Candlestick Park or the Giants all that much. And I just remembered watching this game, and it was like something I had never seen before. Candlestick Park was about 3/4 empty. Even though it's July and, here in St. Louis, it was probably even 9 o'clock at night. It was probably 95 degrees outside. I see people in winter coats and scarves and caps and everything. And I'm just like, what is going on? I had never seen a baseball game like that, or I didn't remember seeing a baseball game like that. And then, you just had like hot dog wrappers going all over the field. You had a foghorn out in right field that would go off anytime the Giants would hit a home run or win the game. So it was just a really cool, to me, it doesn't have to make sense now. I was a kid then and, again in 1992, but to me it was all just really cool, really different, and it drew me in. In that game, Will Clark hits a home run, and I just thought that was, just so cool. I had seen home runs hit before, but because I was so into this game, him hitting a home run, he instantly became my favorite player. That was my first favorite player that I can remember, was Will Clark, who, by the way, just had his number 22 retired last year by the Giants. But so anyway, the rest of that season, I would follow the Giants as much as I could. Remember, it wasn't as easy as getting out your cell phone and just having all the information you would want within seconds. No, you had to work for it a little bit. You had to get the box scores out of the newspaper. You would have the highlights on SportsCenter or Baseball Tonight. But by and large, outside of a 15-second recap on ESPN of the game, you relied on box scores And then if the Giants, would play a random game on WGN or TBS, you could watch them then. But, not being in the Cardinals division, the Cardinals didn't play the Giants a whole lot. So, there weren't a ton of games the rest of that year where I could watch the team. Now, later in 92, in November, that off season, they signed Barry Bonds. And again, I was not aware of Barry Bonds. Again, like I said before, pre-92, my memories with sports are very few and far between. So I see Barry Bonds, they had the press conference. I believe it was the biggest contract ever given out in the sport at that time. Maybe in all pro sports at that time, I don't know. But I remember watching that press conference and didn't know who Bonds was really, but I was a fan. And then he went on to have an amazing 93 season. The Giants won 100 plus games in 93, yet missed out on the playoffs to the Braves, who won one extra game. I think it was 101 for the Giants, 102 for the Braves. So yeah, really, 92 got me sort of in the door. I was at the party, okay, hey, what's going on, Giants? I'm here. I like what I'm seeing here. 93 is where I became a full-blown fan, and Barry Bonds basically became my favorite player from that point, even up to currently. He's been retired for, 15 years now. Still my favorite player of all time. So I do have something off here to the side that ties into what we're talking about, and you'll see why it's a little bit topical in recent events. So our last few cards here, Trevor Story. So that's my story of how I became a Giants fan. Let me know your story with your team, even if it's not as, in detailed as that was. If it is just, it was your family's favorite team, so it got passed on to you, or, you just either grew up in the city of your favorite team, or you moved to a city that had a team. Whatever your story is, I'm interested in hearing it, but that is mine on how I became a Giants fan now 30 plus years ago now. So, all right, off to the side here. One of the funnest things going to games as a kid was after the game, sometimes before, but primarily after at Busch Stadium 2, you could wait for the opposing team's autographs. And there were a number of times I got a number of autographs from plenty of teams, but this one right here was my favorite that I got autographed. You can see a lot of signatures on here. They are all Giants, but right there on what they call the sweet spot of a baseball when you get autographs was the first manager of the first full season in 93 when I was a Giants fan, Dusty Baker, who now 30 years later finally gets his World Series ring as a manager, this only with the Astros. I wish he would have done it with the Giants. Came close. Angels played spoiler to that, but so really nice Dusty Baker autograph there. On this same ball, that same night, who do we have over here? That right there, Barry Bonds. So on the same night, Barry Bonds, Dusty Baker. This is not maybe the nicest ball, but it's held up. It's held up over time. It's not an official Major League Baseball. I didn't care at the time, and I still don't care. I'm not looking for value on this. This will never not be in my possession. Who else do we have? Looks like Mark Dewey, pitcher there. Not sure on those couple of names, but yeah, a lot of names on here. So really cool. Let me know if you've had any success getting autographs, or if you did as a kid, and who's maybe your favorite autograph that you got. So I think we'll just go ahead and leave this baseball right there on our baseball. It's not gonna work with me, but we'll leave it right here because I guess technically it'll be our video's best catch. Thanks everyone for watching. I should have some Allen and Ginter tomorrow on release day from my hobby shop, so look out for that video. Hit the thumbs up if you like this kind of content. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'd appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one, and take care.